So we have a bike frame, needs to be between 6.65 and 6.80 kilograms. We're reporting this in 4 tolerance formats. Okay, so there's always some basic information that we're going to have to gather in order to show a tolerance in the formats. And so one of them is the nominal value. And so why don't we start with that? Now, the nominal value is the value in between the minimum and the maximum. And so we could kind of map it out 6.65 and 6.8 and find in between. And another way of doing it is just to say we can treat it kind of like the average of the two, 6.80 all divided by 2. And so we can plug that into a calculator if you wish. And we come up with 6.725 kilograms. All right, so nominal value, check. Other things we're going to need is the tolerance. So the tolerance there we go, is the difference between the maximum and the minimum. It's the full range. And so we can get that simply by saying 6.80 minus 6.65. And we figure that out, 0.15 kilograms. So there's our tolerance. And we also need half tolerance. We kind of say, okay, if we're going from the nominal value, how much do we add to get to the max? How much do we subtract to get to the minimum? And in order to do that, we need to know what that half tolerance is. And so half the tolerance is equal to half, and we already know the tolerance, 0.15. And we calculate that 0.075 kilograms. All right, so in order to do this up correctly, we need the maximum and the minimum, but we were already given that in the original question. So I think we're good to go here. So there's 4 formats. Maybe I'll draw some lines to kind of split up our work here a little bit. The most typical format is that plus minus format. And so what we do there is we just, the nominal value and plus or minus half the tolerance. In other words, plus to get to the maximum, minus to get to the minimum. All right, so kind of squeeze that in there. And so there's our most typical format there. The other formats that we could run into, min, max. And so with this one, we always show the max on top, the min below. And so let's take a look here. The max in this case was 6.80 kilograms and 6.65 kilograms. And that's all we really have to do to show the min-max. So if you were asked a question regarding tolerance and you were given it in this format, you would just take a look at the two numbers and say, oh, well, the top one's the max, bottom one's the min, and I can go from there. And the next one is basing it on our minimum and going up from there. And so our minimum in this case is 6.65 kilograms. And so then we just put a 0 to say that that's where we're going from. And we're going up to. And in order to get to the maximum, we have to add the full tolerance in this case, right? 0.15 kilograms. And so there's another format for showing our tolerance. And so minimum and what we have to go up to get to our maximum. And the opposite of that is if we say a maximum and what we have to go down to get to the minimum. So our maximum, again, is 6.80 kilograms. And in this case, what we do is we say, well, we're at the maximum and we just go down to the minimum. and we have to go down the full tolerance to get to the minimum. And there we go. We're done our 4 different formats there. I like to show that there is a quick way to check if you're doing this on a test or something and you want to just kind of, let's just stop and make sure all those numbers I worked with all make sense here. What you can do is you could just say on a number line, 6.65 is our minimum, 6.80 is our maximum. And so what's in between those two? And so just dividing those up, and we see that 6.725 is in the middle. And so to jump up to here, that would take a 0.075, half the tolerance, so that checks out there. And to go to the minimum, we would have to go 0.075. Okay, that checks out. And to jump from the minimum to the maximum, we would have to go the full tolerance of 0.15. And so, yeah, we can visualize all that, and it seems to make sense with our numbers. So anyways, just a way of stopping and thinking about your numbers and making sure it all kind of checks out together.